Top TV. Watch your life make sense.
That interdependency is an egoistic one, where we all want to use others in a closed system, in a system which is entirely interdependent, like a single body, single organism. Say, yesterday the whole of humanity is like that. So each part, when it thinks of itself, it becomes like a cancer, consuming itself and its surroundings, and at the end of the day, it puts to death its environment and eventually itself. So we're coming to a point that somehow we have to change our conduct. On the one hand, on the other hand, our substance is about wanting to receive, to enjoy, to absorb, to only consider ourselves. So how do we are already at such a tight level of connection, and it's only going to intensify. As we evolve, our interdependency will increase on all levels, in one another and throughout the world. We'll feel like one family, we're with nowhere to escape. And you can't divorce like in a family when you start hating each other. So what are we going to do? Now we have to search not for an ecological solution or for other solutions, but just for a single solution. How can we teach people to transcend the ego, to be considerate of each other? Because if the world is global, if it's integral, if with a butterfly effect, we have no choice. We have to be connected to each other like in a living organism. And here, and this is why we have to search in nature. Is there a force in nature that can change us? And here, through Kabbalah, we come to a solution where it is possible to find a special force that exists in the world. And that force is called a higher force, the force of the light, the force of the Creator, whatever you want to call it, that can change us.
I think I've heard the answer, at least from the point of view of geneticists. I realized that from the moment you told global, I just realized that quite possibly the answer is there, because we're individuals. We have genetical code, some differences. Nevertheless, we are the same species, we're Homo being. But on this planet, once we will feel as one, which is on the global level, right, as human beings. So we will overcome the natural, genetically built in us egoism, and we will come to a kind of global altruism, right, at this level. And that's probably the answer. But the question is that, do you think that humanity, all the people are ready for that, or only a very small part of people will be enough, so we will kind of break through the spiritual level?
I think that gradually everyone will have to join in. And I think we haven't come to a point where we study not an individual. We have to study the whole of humanity as a single organism, to study it on the genetic level, biological, molecular level. So we will see this entity. Yes, currently we think these cells belong only to my body. Your cells belong only to your body. We are still not at a point where we can say that these two bodies are not two bodies. They exist in this kind of soup. And they're like two cells, some kind of a plasma, or some kind of a general fluid thing.
Cell suspension, that's what, yeah.
We haven't found that connection. And so we haven't reached the level of this level of biology to study our organisms as parts of a general, bigger body. But it seems to me that it'll come. We will discover some kind of lack in our lives, in the research, where without taking into consideration the whole of humanity, like a collection of biological cells, like a single organism, we will not be able to understand life in each and every one of us. It'll just force us to study it this way.
But you realize that from genetical point of view, because egoism is built in us, it's on our animal genetical level, on molecular level, that essentially coming to the spiritual.
But how do they connect? So how do they connect? These selfish cells do connect within us, and they work together.
And that's probably brings dissemination in picture, right? So just connecting through us, like individual cell, like individuums, makes it possible for us.
But how do cells in each organism, yes, are they selfish? Each cell, it absorbs, it wants to absorb, but to live, it understands that it has to reciprocate with others. So you have this duality too. On the one hand, I want to take care of myself. To take care of myself, I have to take care of everyone else. So in this mutual way, it creates balance between what's for me and what's for others. And you come to the form of life. It's the formula of life.
I see the point.
If this balance is broken, the body dies, deteriorates, disintegrates. If I lose the ability to maintain that formula, I
So we're the
perish.
single cells. So we're, as individuals, we're single cells, but we are a unity. We are in, okay, I see the
Yes.
point.
We just have to find the kind of connection that exists between us. We understand that in our own bodies we have a single mechanism that contains us. But that mechanism of the body that contains us is also higher than each and every individual cell. Now, among us, we have to find the mechanism, the network that connects us. And what is that general
But then
body?
spirituality, is it the force which drives to that, or it's the final product of the process?
Humanity, we just think of it as humanity. It is a single atom that was created, that exists, that emerged, and it's just our imagination that it was divided into 7 billion cells. It's how we
still one.
picture it. It is the same single body, and nothing happened to it really. So as
Maybe the
we
number,
advance,
it's really large now. It's what, 10 billion people? The whole body on this planet of human beings. It's huge. It's probably easy when it's fewer people. They can come to understanding and to raise the level, you know, but with such a diversity and the number of people, maybe it's harder.
I don't think so. I think that life, the more complex and different cells you have, and at the same time united, they provide you with the ability or with a more expansive meaning to life. The more a person is complex, you know, look at how complex a human being is compared to an ant, for example. So the more billions we have, it won't be a problem, you know, to provide for them. But the more, on one hand, people are egoistic, and on top of that, unite, we'll discover a life at a higher level.